Namaste, Jai Bharat. Some news reports that happened here says that a section of people in UK, section of Muslims in UK, were asking for a Sharia kind of governance and Sharia law in UK itself. This becomes very interesting and it amuses actually a person like us, a person like me from Bharat. There was a time when the British desperately made us colony of the British people, a British girl. Not really British government in the beginning, it was the East India Company. Subsequently, after 1857, revolt, the rule had gone to Crown. Till that time, it was with the East India Company. They were not directly ruling. So, but during their regime, during their rule in Bharat, they used to send their officers, and they found one thing that they found Muslims can easily be manipulated into disliking Hindus. So there could be a possible rift. They have not invented the divide and rule policy, but they found that the divide and rule policy can function in this society better because of this attitude of Hindu hatred, which used to be there in the past and which is there, and as a result that we find in nations like Pakistan and Bangladesh and things like that. I wonder what they've achieved by becoming Islamic states. Actually, they achieved nothing. They only went back in time to more poverty, more suffering, and more miseries. Whether they accept or whether it remains as a fact. So now, let these people ask for Sharia law in England. They used to be very, very authoritative and powerful once upon a time, and they created a rift among us. Of course, our own people, the Muslim section of Bharat, were that time willing to be instruments at the hands of the British people, and they made good advantage of it. I won't accuse them, and I won't accuse them alone. What was the need of a Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental college at Aligarh? Why they wanted separate education institutions for the Muslims, Spartan Hindus? And then why was it made into the Aligarh Muslim University at the instance of Syed Ahmad Khan by the British? And that time, many of the Muslim leaders in Bharat, except Tayyib of Bombay or some people like that, many of the Muslim leaders in Bharat were of the opinion that let the English rule us, that will be better than the other Kafir rule, that is the Hindu rule. So there are quite a few people, they used to be supporting British against the Hindu rule. They thought that if Bharat goes into democracy, it's going to be majority Hindu rule, and they assumed that the Hindus would do the same thing to the Muslims as Muslims would have done to the Hindus under similar circumstances. This is a kind of logic played in their mind, such leaders' mind. I'm not talking about common people, I'm talking about the leaders. They thought the Hindus would do the same thing to Muslims, those the Muslims would have done to Hindus in the same situation. So they know what they have done to us, and they would do to us in such situation, and they of course wanted the Hindu domination rule to be stopped, rather to be somehow restricted. That should not happen. They tried in their manner. Eventually, they went for a two-nation theory, and they went into Pakistan, and they went down in time and back in time. If there is some Pakistani capitalism here, he has got his so-called religion of his own version, the Iguarian version, which I call. But what else? If it is sufficient, that religion alone is sufficient, then let them be happy. If at all they can be, or if at all they are, that's a question. So the British asked for it, I would say. They asked for it. It was Winston Churchill when they had to leave Bharat, said now the rules going in the hands of rascals. Yes, if we are rascals, who are rascals among you? He said, he called us rascals. Oh, as though he is a very, very noble man. His nobility, of course, you look at him and you will understand yourself, why should I speak of it? Now, you get rascals into your nation and you suffer with the rascals because you wanted rascals, you thought others are rascals, and you get rascals ruled to you. That's what is happening. They asked for it. I said they simply asked for it. And all those who have done such things are asking for it. There was one time they thought they are superior and everything. That's unfortunate. Such spurious, baseless thinking, such spurious, baseless claims and attitude had destroyed them to nothing these days. They used to be powerful once upon a time, and they were great looters and shameless people in that time. I'm talking about those people who were instrumental, those who did it. They took all our money, they took all our property shamelessly, and started behaving that is their own. And they will say this is normal. That's how they colonize. All right. Now you pay for what you have done. You reap what you sow. You ask for it. We'll meet again with some other thoughts. Namaste. Jai Bharat and Jai Shri Ram.